Trump's temper tantrum list, and this is just a short partial list, came to me in a true Homer Simpson moment. Here's what he's done. He backed the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accords, a plan for global climate protection that was agreed to by 195 nations. He eliminated the 2012 CAFE standards that would dramatically reduce the use of fossil fuels that contribute to global warming. He backed the U.S. out of the TPP, thus giving enormous leverage on international trade to China, yet another step toward the U.S. becoming number 2. He canceled DACA, putting nearly 1 million kids and young adults at risk by betraying them. He opened our national parks and other protected lands and oceans to fossil fuel exploration. He backed the U.S. out of the JCPOA, a successful single-focus agreement that prevents Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, leaving us a future choice between accepting Iran as a nuclear state or starting a war. He promoted and signed a tax plan that overwhelmingly benefits already very wealthy people and corporations and blows off the rest of us in just a few years. This started when President Obama committed the greatest of sins, the most heinous of indictable crimes, when he mocked Donald Trump at White House correspondents' dinners. Trump, a whining, sniveling little victim always, was infuriated, and we know that whenever he thinks he's been wronged, which is pretty much every day, he goes into full-court press attack mode, and that's what he's been doing since he got his hands on the reins. Trump has stupidly, childishly, clumsily done everything possible to erase the legacy of Barack Obama. The sole exception occurs whenever he can blame anything, whether real or imagined, on his predecessor. It doesn't matter a whit to Trump if what he does harms our people or our country or the entire planet. He doesn't care if he puts us at risk of civilization-destroying nuclear war or any other consequence, as long as he can diminish Barack Obama. That is the tyrant child we have as a president. And another thing. Many Republicans in Congress and our nominally Republican president hate the very notion of helping poor people. It's your fault, and help yourself, intoned the Pizza King presidential candidate Herman Cain. Conservatives hate welfare, like the food stamps that make it so poor children have something to eat. Making that cruelty to our most at-risk people even worse are the slimy reforms proposed by conservatives. People like Paul Ryan call for welfare changes that they brand with chest-thumping, patriotic-sounding names, and then they lie about their programs and the adverse effect they'll have on poor people. That's the slime. Repealing all welfare is likely politically impossible, but there must be a solution somewhere to this anathema to the conservative soul. Well, I just happen to have a solution that should satisfy everyone. A kid in a family with an out-of-work coal miner dad in West Virginia doesn't have the same resources for building an economically successful life as, say, little Donald Trump did. He began life with huge wealth in his lap, and just look at what he claims to have built from that. It's obvious from that comparison, the poor kid in West Virginia and the rich Donald in New York, that the solution to our welfare mess is for everyone to start with a fortune. That is why I propose that we give every current and future poor person a one-time $1 million stake to use to create their life of wealth. Just imagine the millions of Americans with enormous wealth that this insightful program will produce. We'll do away with all other welfare programs, and that will make conservatives happy. Best of all, the rest of us won't have to listen to any more disingenuous and slimy conservative welfare reform schemes. I'm Jack Altshuler.